Can you tell what you're looking at? How about if I do this? Now you can tell. You're looking at a globe. I want you to notice way down there at the bottom of South America, Argentina is there. And I'm going to tell you a story today about a heartbreak. People who came all the way up from there, across there, and on up into North America and the United States. Now, this story to you may not be too touching if you've never had to face any loss in your family. Today I'm going to tell you a true story that has something to do with my family, but I'm not going to say any more than that, okay? I'm just going to tell you that it has something to do with my family in a way that allows me to know a lot about it. It also has to do with a whole lot of others. And so today's story is a true story that is true of many, many families throughout our country. It's a story about immigration and how if you don't play by the rules, things can get very complicated. Got your thinking caps on today? I want to start off by showing you some of the places in this world that are struggling with the problem of immigration. Check this out. They've got problems there. They've got problems. People leaving their countries and going to others. Not always welcome. Sometimes they're leaving because of poverty, terrible poverty, or wars, because there have been threats on their lives. They're no longer safe because they belong to a certain political party. Places there, they're struggling with lots of immigration issues. There. Recognize that? A lot of times Africa is spoken of as though it were a country, but of course it's a continent of countries that are very different from each other. Trouble there doesn't go away here either. You see, everybody has trouble protecting their borders and coming up with sensible regulations. On one hand, we're all members of this earth, inhabitants who it would seem like would have some sort of freedom to go and explore and enjoy, maybe even live in different parts of this planet. But everywhere I'm showing you, they have problems. A woman decided that she wanted to leave her home country, Argentina. So she and her husband came to the U.S. They had been having a lot of trouble in their country. The government of Argentina had ransacked a lot of banks and taken a whole lot of people's money. A lot of hard-earned money was not available anymore, and a whole lot of Argentines were furious. And they were having a really tough time making ends meet. So it was easy for this mother, let's put it this way, it was extra easy for this mother to say, I'm going to follow my daughter to the States. Now, mothers and daughters often have special ties to each other. This woman and her husband came to America so that they could be by their daughter. Well, they all had permission to come, but they had permission to stay for 6 months. That is where much of the problem lies. The mother was very happy to be with her daughter, and they were all happy to be in America. They knew that their banks weren't going to be robbed by the government, so they began to live happily ever after. Their son decided that he wanted to come and join the family, so he obtained a 6-month visa to come and live and work here. Now, you saw on the map how far it is from way down there on the tip of South America, not far really from the South Pole. So they had made a very long journey. That in itself is expensive. Now, you know, that was okay with them because they knew that when they got here, they would be able to find some work. They were hard workers. They didn't want anything free. They wanted to come and work. Some of it was painting, and good painting, you know, painting houses inside and out, businesses. They did excellent work. Well, the Argentine son who came after everyone else had come, had a girlfriend there in Texas, and they began living together and they had a baby. Now there was more of a commitment for this young man to stick around, and not that he was planning on leaving, but now he had a baby to be responsible for. His mother was glad to have a granddaughter, but she wasn't crazy about the other two living together and having a baby, and his girlfriend wasn't from here either. So they had a pretty complicated situation right there. Both of them here from other countries with a child that was born here and became a U.S. citizen as a result. After a while, the visas expired. All of those people who had come here, their 6-month visas were up, but they didn't want to renew them. You may want to pause this video right now and think about this, okay? The question is, why wouldn't they have wanted to request permission for their visas to be renewed? They were afraid that they would be denied. They knew they would be denied because the immigration laws here had become stricter simply because so many people were coming into this country and taking advantage of the visas that allowed them to stay here for 6 months. The problem there is that many people were overstaying their visas, and when the time was up for them to go back or to ask for an extension, they decided, oh, I'll just get lost in the crowd. I just won't go to the authorities. I won't show my face. I'll just mix in with the thousands of people around my town. And that's what goes on every day in our country, which is a serious problem. Now, because their visas were up and they had not requested permission before that, and of course it would have been denied, but nevertheless the situation is this: because they hadn't asked for and received permission before their visas were up, they were now staying illegally. Therefore, if they were to leave the country, they simply wouldn't be allowed back in for another 10 years. Check out how this gets messier. The daughter, let me set the world down there. The Argentine parents, remember, they had followed their daughter here to America. Their daughter decided she didn't want to be here anymore.